Assalamu Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, then hi, my name is Sayyida Khairunisa and I make videos on self-love, self-improvement and Islam as well, and how Allah has healed me. Today I'm going to be addressing some major problems that we all as humans go through at some or the other point in our lives. And those are the times when we feel like, I wish somebody just comforts me. I wish I listened to something comforting so I can hang in here. A lot of these patients, they end up telling their therapists that I just wish I had somebody to listen to me. And the complaints are very, very genuine. For a believer, like for me, when I was in those moments where I felt very depressed and hopeless, and I could have very easily, considering the moments that I were in emotionally, how draining they were, and mind you guys, I'm never ever gonna blame others for how I felt, maybe in my personal reflection sessions, but others literally, they have only this much role to play. In the end of the day, there's a lot of things that I felt in the moment, and this is my journey, not theirs, not anybody else's. So anyways, the reason I'm sharing this is because a lot of sort of times when suicides happen, it's because of major loneliness, major anxiety, and this feeling that they think that they won't be able to take or bear it anymore, and they just end up quitting. Do you even realize why it's haram? Because Allah loves you the most. Allah loves His creation the most. You realize how much a believer, even if you've thought of it, because I've been watching reels on Instagram saying that if suicide wasn't haram, then the rest you guys can just imagine. Do you understand how much that can upset Allah, considering how much He loves us? He loves us 70 times more than our own mother does, and it makes me emotional when I even think of it. Because imagine telling your mother, I wish I wasn't there. My mother, she gets so mad. She's like, why the hell are you saying that? Imagine when you think of ending yourself, if you listening to this. Imagine how upsetting it is for him. But Allah loves us so much. And then you say that you want to end yourself, and you don't think you have a purpose, and you don't think that you have any use. Sabr is difficult. Sabr is heart-wrenching. Sabr can tear you. There could be a whole storm going on inside of you. Sabr can seem so hard to even imagine, let alone practicing sabr. Those are the moments when you have to be patient. Those are the moments that when you come out of those moments, you'll come out with flying colors. But trust me on this. If you think you can't make it, it's not true. Allah will not burden a soul beyond it can bear. And I know in the moments when it feels like my world is falling apart, or I just feel like everything is going to come to an end, and no one who's there for me, no one listening to me. You have Allah. And that is a moment when you have faith in Him. Because imagine this. When nothing is working for you, that is when Allah tests you to reward you only, to bless you in the end. Why else? To bless you. Because when you talk about tests, it's not simply wanting something and not getting it, or something that you can take, or listening to a taunt from a relative. That's not what you listen to and cry a little bit about and have sabr about. No. Sabr is something you need to have when you feel like, oh my goodness, what did I do to deserve this? A lot of people can feel that way. What did I do to deserve this? I don't deserve to go through this. And you don't deserve to go through this. But you're being put through this to get what you deserve later on in life. And everything that comes into your life is for a reason. Everything that leads to your life is for a reason. So I'm going to share 10 situations where you can feel like it's the end, but it really isn't. And what is the solution? And what is it that Allah has to say about those situations which can make you really comforted? A lot of the times, the reason we feel so depressed, the reason we feel so heartbroken, indeed our generation and these times are the times of a lot of heartbroken people. It can also be the grief of a friend leaving you. It can be the grief of a job opportunity that you'd been dreaming for years sliding by, not being able to get it. It can be the grief of a relative or a family member leaving your life and becoming distant from you. It can be sloping down from a certain situation financially to a situation which is nothing as compared to where you were at. Because indeed Allah will test you with loss of life, poverty, fear, anxiety, and many other situations. When you lose something that is dear to you, even if it is a friend, it can be very painful. But wait until I share with you what Allah has to say about that. So in Surah Al-Anfal, verse 70, Allah has said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if Allah finds goodness in your heart, He will grant you better than what He has taken away from you and forgive you, because He's all forgiving and merciful. And this is the words that Allah has shared for us, for the believers. Every time we feel like this was the best that could have ever happened to me. That's why in all my previous videos also, I have encouraged you guys to get rid of the lack mindset. What happens is when you live in the lack mindset, you think one thing leaves you, you think you're not deserving of another thing. Because you just feel like things have come to an end, but that's you being attached again. That's attachment issue. But when you detach to everything and you only are attached to the faith you have in Allah, and you only are attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how He works things out for you, then you don't care about the whole world. Like anyone can come and leave, and anything that happens related to it, it's Allah's decision, and you completely, fully submit to it. You think that nothing better than that can happen to you. But while your mind is this small and this is probably how much you can think about it, how you can look at it, Allah's plan is this big and way bigger, for you. There's a lot of reels that I've been watching where people put like a picture. I'm going to put it up here. My plan and God's plan. That's very true. A lot of the times you might feel like, why hasn't this happened to me? Allah's plan is something different. He knows you better than you know yourself. He knows what you deserve. And for all you know, you might deserve way better than what you lost. And that is why you lost that. And it wasn't written in your qadr, because if it was, you wouldn't have lost that person, situation, job, business venture, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Their time to stay in your life ended, the chapter ended, close it, move on to the next one. That's it. And be detached. And that's why you have to master the art of detachment. Because if you're attached, you are the one that's limiting you. You're your own oppressor in that case. Because Allah wants to begin a new start for you, but then you're just like, no, I'm still attached. I'm clinging on. I'm attached to that memory. I'm attached to that person. I'm attached to that friend. I'm attached to that house. I'm attached to that job. Then how will you be blessed with something new? If you're attached, if your mind is only there, and if you yourself cannot visualize. Oh, like, okay, chalo, let alone visualizing. Chalo, if you don't want to accept that. At least, if you cannot accept something better happening to you, if you cannot just try to open your mind also to try to see what new blessings Allah will send your way. Have you ever felt so alone and so unsafe with everybody? You just didn't feel like anybody would understand what's going on in your heart. Because humans are not capable, first of all. I'm not capable of solving someone's situation and turning it 360 degrees entirely. Astaghfirullah. I'm even guilty to think about it, because we're not. Okay? No human is able to truly understand what's going on in your heart. And that's why I don't have any hope from humans to understand my situation. Somebody misunderstands me, somebody tells me something, I'm just like, fine, you want to believe that? Please go ahead. Because I don't, think about it anymore. I've gone through situations where I felt so weak and vulnerable that I've begged for people to stay. I've begged for people to understand my situation, And I've seen around me as well, people, the reason they've been hurt is because they've been misunderstood. They felt like nobody understood to them. They felt like even if they tried to be vulnerable and share their issues, share their problems, nobody understood them completely. That's why they didn't feel that safe space sharing those problems with the people around them. And I'm pretty sure that even with the people that you love the most, this may have happened. That they didn't understand your problem, and that might have hurt like hell. Because humans are not capable of solving your big, big problems. You know who is? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for this, again, wait until what Allah has to say about this. So in Surah Ghafir, verse 60, Allah has proclaimed, call upon me and I will respond to you. He's your best friend. Imagine your creator being your best friend. How beautiful does that sound? Just try letting that sink in. Your creator being your best friend. Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. I have spoken about my experiences and I will continue to. But what I want to insist you guys right now is try it for yourself. Ask Allah for guidance. Talk to Him. Ask Him for help. He will send you help. He will. I promise you, you will be guided. In my ninth standard, I studied in a school where there were a bunch of Islamophobes. They used to make fun of the hijab. There was literally a girl that used to like make fun of the hijab by wearing dupatta on her head every time, she would get it from anywhere. We had a uniform, of course, so her getting a dupatta was quite different that time and odd. She used to get it and she used to wear it and roam around, and she used to like mockingly greet everyone, Assalamu Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, and she used to mock that. And every time she used to see me, she used to say that while she was laughing. Like, I didn't like it, bro. This one time we had an economics class, and the teacher was talking about how the population is increasing in India, and she was like, very relentlessly, she said it out. But what about those Muslim families that have like 10 kids once? So you realize that she was like freaking 15 or 14 at the time. So that sort of a mentality has been engraved in her mind since a very young age. But then, she dumped it out in a freaking class, and there were only like 3 Muslims or 4 Muslims in the class, and nobody was able to speak up, including myself, which I'm guilty of. But I wasn't as courageous as I at least am right now. Like, I will not hear anything against my religion now. I felt very disheartened, and there were majority of the people were actually really Islamophobic. And I used to feel like I didn't fit in with them, or at least even if I was a Muslim, I thought that I should swear on them, or I should just casually just mingle with the non-mahrams, joke around like stupidly, and just be really casual, that I didn't want to. You don't have to wear a certain kind of clothes to fit in. You don't have to be able to speak a certain way to fit in. You don't have to adapt into this whole realm to fit in with people that won't even be there with you if you are going to be in Jannah. They won't even be there with you. So in this life you're gonna enjoy with them wherever they are, and then later in hell you're gonna be with them. Because if you were with them doing all of those things right now, you might as well accompany them in hell. But anyways, I just didn't feel like I fit in, right? There were times when a classmate literally was like talking, and someone was telling her that, are you a Muslim? Because your name is like a Muslim. And then she clearly repulsed, and she was like, no, I'm not a Muslim. Like, I could sense that in her voice, And I just felt like these people have such intrinsic hatred for Muslims. Even if there is a Muslim, they require that Muslim to fit into what they are doing so that they accept them, or they have them fit in. But I wasn't one of those. And I felt very uncomfortable around them. And then I wish someone shared this verse of the Quran with me that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. From Surah Ali Imran, verse 139, Allah has said, do not falter or grieve, for you will have the upper hand if you are true believers. Mic drop for the Islamophobes. I mean, I think when I listen to these verses, I think of how much energy I wasted into trying to fit in, even if I tried, into thinking about how I fit in, into just doubting myself for hours, and then getting into this whole overthinking, when I could have literally just been myself. But Allah has a plan for everything. If at the time I knew it, I wouldn't have gone through so much pain, and maybe wouldn't have had the desire to come up here and talk about it and share that. Because if it wouldn't even have affected me so much, I wouldn't have been able to come here and share it. Like, I forget compliments, but I don't forget the times people criticized me. And this might not be a very good habit, but it is something that that's the case with me. I don't know what's up with that. And by the way, this verse also very well applies to the situation in Gaza right now. I know it can be so difficult looking at people dying, see children, women being in such miserable positions. I've seen so many videos, and as I get flashbacks right now, I get some sensation in my brain and goosebumps. But that's nothing compared to how much those people in Gaza, Palestine, are suffering. May Allah heal them, may Allah make it easy for them. But definitely, what I know for sure as a believer, Israel winning is not the end. If anything, that is not my end. That is not my definition of what an ideal end would be. Because like Allah said in the Quran, that you will have the upper hand if you're true believers. The test is definitely severe. But wait have sabr. As a human, try to help by donations and prayers. Allah will not forget one drop of blood that was shed. All of these people will have the upper hand in Jannah, for sure. They are shaheeds. Do you understand the rank of a shaheed? A martyr? Direct Jannah. Beautiful part about the verses of the Quran, they don't apply to a specific situation. This was the part 1 of the 10 verses that I plan to share as a solution for 10 major problems that we go through as believers. Subscribe to my channel for part 2 and part 3 as well. Jazakallah khair for watching. Allah Hafiz.